Hi, welcome to the channel. Welcome back if you're a current subscriber. Today I'm doing a body language analysis on Bree, which is Gypsy's best friend over on TikTok. A few things to note real quick is if you see anything cutting out or some weird fading in and out of Bree herself, that is because Bree's own internet and there's nothing I could really do about that. Also, this comes from a channel called Alrighty Then, which I feel is accurately named for this video. Let's get into it.
Okay, the surgeries and the procedures, it's everything included.
Hold on. No, procedures are not surgeries.
No, what I'm saying is like when she says, I'll have to pull up a clip of when she says they would see.
Right off the bat, I want to note a few things, and this is not meant to insult people who are in active addiction. There has been some controversy about whether or not Bree has been on substances, and in this particular video, I felt that there were some things that could indicate she was on substances, and parts of this that indicated it was something else going on. So, for example, in this little clip, her mouth is open, and normally we might do that to perhaps control our lower jaw, whether we're going to smile, smirk, or give away some indication that we are not being genuine. I don't believe that is what's going on here. I believe it is something else. Either she wants to say something further, but normally that's indicated by a lip compression or something different. She speaks and then her mouth is still open a bit, as if she's surprised. However, her eyes indicate that she might be tired. Now, the particular substance that people have been discussing is going to make her speak very quickly, look tired, and signs of paranoia, intense anxiety, things like that. Now, you'll see some self-grooming behaviors here and there, and we'll get a little more into that. But just for this little clip right here, there are indications that something is definitely going on because she isn't surprised. That's not indicated in her eyes. Her mouth is open, her lower jaw is dropped, her eyes are droopy.
Surgeries and procedures. She said, but I mean, that's fine. We could just talk about the surgeries too. I think altogether, like she said, or it was said somewhere like 33, but
She said multiple different.
Now, she does have some rapid speech and pressured speech, which again could indicate the use of substances, but that's not always the case. It really could be that she's anxious in this particular video because she's getting a little pushback from Starlight, the person she's speaking to on this live stream in this video. So it really could just be that. This is just one of many indications she may be on a substance that would make her speak quickly and have pressured speech while looking exhausted, and that's what we're seeing here.
Numbers. I think it was Dr. Phil where she said 30.
yeah. So let's see.
Have you watched Becca Scoop's video?
I haven't watched it because I just heard of it, like when you mentioned it, but I do know that if she uses that, well, this is the thing. I don't think that anyone who doesn't have access to her medical records can really talk.
Now, when someone indulges in self-grooming behaviors such as pushing around their hair, brushing their hair back, pushing it away from their face, anything like that, self-grooming behaviors can indicate anxiety or wanting to look good, for example. In this case, along with the rapid blink rate, along with her data collecting up here and then her eyes shifting that direction, she is at least a little bit stressed out in this. And again, it could be because of the pushback from Starlight. Now, the reason there's this controversy in the first place that she has been on some kind of substance is because of the sniffing, the turning away from the camera, her face goes out of focus, and then you hear her sniff. So that is why that controversy even exists in the first place. And I know that's a sensitive topic, so I apologize. I'm not trying to offend anybody. Just, again, I want to address this particular controversy where there are indications that she is and indications that really there might be something else going on entirely. The reason she is turned away, and I believe most of you, if not all of you, already know this by now, is because her computer screen's right there. But the reason that's important is not so much because of the substances, it's more because it indicates a level of distraction of her not wanting to focus and fully confront this conversation with Starlight because there's a level of stress there, because something else is going on. Most likely, again, the pushback she's getting from Starlight and question a bit herself because she's been told one thing by Gypsy Rose, and that Starlight's saying reasonably this would not make sense.
Talk about her medical history. Like even before
And I've seen her medical records.
Right. Well, I think that anybody who has seen it should know, because it talks about all her surgeries. So that's what's.
It doesn't though. It doesn't. say that she had surgeries.
It does. I assume. No, like that's what I'm saying.
Well, hold on. We have the eye surgeries.
She had 6.
That were definitely needed because she was cross-eyed.
Right, but she had 6 of them.
Yes, her eye to this day still goes in.
Right, which is why she should have honestly gotten caught.
Again, you see rapid blink rate. In some cases, she focuses and stops blinking, but then she goes into more eye flutters, and that indicates some level of stress. Followed with that self-grooming behavior, all of this indicates a level of stress. It could indicate her being on an illegal substance. It definitely could, because all of this going on, it seems bizarre. It seems out of place, and it could indicate anxiety, paranoia, again, the pressure and speedy speech, her inability to recall some facts clearly, and again, having to now question things that Gypsy has told her, and at the same time, try to confidently say that she knows better, she knows best, she knows Gypsy the best of out of anybody or almost anybody, and Starlight doesn't know what she's talking about. And that could bring her a lot of stress. Typically, you wouldn't see all of these odd behaviors, the sniffling, the turning away from the camera, the moving around back and forth, her self-grooming behaviors and rapid eye blinking, her inability to recall facts clearly, her having to shift her eyes everywhere. All of this could indicate an illegal substance in some cases because it does seem bizarre. It does seem as if she can't just confidently hold a conversation about this thing that she allegedly knows so much about.
Contacts or glasses, and the doctors
She did have glasses.
No, but those weren't like her actual, like those weren't prescription like to her needs. Like she has no records of
Those are how would you know that?
because the records don't show that.
So you're telling me those were fake glasses and Gypsy didn't need glasses and never wore glasses.
No, we always said that she didn't need glasses. She wouldn't. That would have corrected her eye problem if she got real glasses.
No.
Now we're seeing more tension in that lower jawline, a bit of aggression appears, a bit of anger appears there very subtly, very briefly. Again, with the eye fluttering and then the halt all of a sudden in any eye blinking. Then the lip compressions, she wants to say a lot more. She's being interrupted by Starlight. And again, this pushback, they're going back and forth. There's this disagreement. I will say, just from what I've seen, typically, Bree does not do well with disagreements. She is usually unable to handle that in a calm manner. Based on what I've seen, she will almost immediately block people or continue to push back and disagree. I don't personally know why she gets online very frequently and pushes back with people such as Starlight here. I'm not sure why she absolutely needs that unless there's some form of payout. Usually it's a payout. In this case, I believe strongly it's validation. She's receiving some validation, some attention, and she needs that validation. And you could tell that usually by the way she's so defensive, the way her speech is pressured, which again could be the other thing going on that's not an illegal substance. She really needs Starlight to validate that everything she knows about Gypsy is true. Everything she's been told is true. It was potentially not validated as a child. And these people usually don't do well when it comes to people disagreeing with them because, again, it's a form of invalidation to them. Some telling them basically that they can't trust themselves.
Then there'll be one that have a lazy eye that with glasses corrects it.
She doesn't just have a lazy eye. I can't remember the proper term for it right now.
I'll show you the term.
Okay.
It's esotropia, which is like AKA lazy eye. That's like what it is.
Astropia.
Esotropia.
Yeah, I don't think that is technically lazy eye.
So this is really where you see her begin to seemingly stutter and her inability to fully recall facts. She's having to confront what's on her computer more than the audience. More frequently, she's having to look things up. Things she hasn't been told by Gypsy herself, it seems. That Gypsy might be keeping her in the dark about a lot of this stuff. And again, it invalidates her. It invalidates everything she thinks she knows about Gypsy and the kind of bond that she might or thinks she has with Gypsy. And it's invalidating to have this pushback, to have to go to the internet and look up different things that she has allegedly already been told. Now, again, she keeps going back to her screen. A lot of indications of stress, inability to recall facts, whether Gypsy actually told her those facts or she's forgetting them, or it is just a matter of her being unable to pronunciate some things. We don't know.
Well, I know. I'm not saying that's not. What I'm saying is the doctors repeatedly told her mom that like another eye surgery wouldn't make a difference, is what I'm saying, but her mom still chose to get them. So I'm not saying, but that's not what,
So we know this. Whether we know.
because it's in the records. That's what I'm saying.
I also want to note that, again, you see all of this aggression come out, all of this need for Starlight to agree, to understand something that Bree feels she's not understanding, and to agree, to validate what she knows. All these self-grooming behaviors, this is typically what you might see in, let's say, a dash cam, a police dash cam. You might see someone who knows they're about to get in trouble for something, knows they're in trouble for something. They feel some amount of guilt and they really need an officer to know it's not what it looks like. I know more than you do about the situation and let me just clear this up. And that's what we're seeing here. That's very much the behavior of Bree here. And the interesting part, again, is why does she need the internet to believe Gypsy? If Gypsy's telling the truth, that would speak for itself. But Gypsy herself has said repeatedly that she is manipulative and is a liar. Bree, however, is saying that everything Gypsy says is true. And that's difficult to know if Bree really believes that. In my opinion, Bree really believes that because she can't allow herself to believe otherwise. If she were to believe otherwise, then she doesn't really have the bond with this person that she believes is popular and famous. She doesn't get that validation. This is the emotional payout, I believe, just in my opinion, that Bree is receiving from being Gypsy's friend, from knowing allegedly so much about Gypsy and defending her this aggressively.
Saying, like, if you look thoroughly through the records, April doesn't talk about those type of things. If you look thoroughly through the records, I have looked through these records up and down because I don't think it's okay to like discredit someone without like really looking through the records, because that's somebody else's like, you know, medical history. So I think that it shouldn't be taken lightly, you know? But
Well, I haven't shared them with anyone, but
no, I'm not saying you have. I'm not saying you have. I'm just saying that I think that that's the only thing. Okay, if you look back on Fancy's older videos, she actually goes through the records thoroughly and she actually speaks on them truthfully.
Her eyes are wider, so again, she seems more alert than she did towards the beginning here. And the conversation has fired up a bit. It's a little more heated, so that could perhaps be why. The constant movements, though, again, people could see that as muscle jerking. That isn't what muscle jerking is. Indicates that along with the seeming paranoia of not knowing things, the high levels of stress, the inability to recall facts and answer everything Starlight says in a way that makes a lot of sense. All of this leads people to believe, understandably, that Bree might be doing illegal substances along with the sniffing and the off-camera turning this direction. From what I see, she's just confronting the computer and she does sniff a bit when she is back in frame randomly at certain points. And that itself could just be a stress thing. Our nasal tissue does swell when we get stressed out. Typically, people will rub their nose or itch their nose in some way to indicate that level of stress, and they won't just sniffle, but that could, again, just be what we're seeing here. So there are a lot of indications that she is on a substance. And again, I know this is a sensitive topic, but I did want to address this and what we might be seeing and how that affects her body language, because that is how that would affect her body language. She would have muscle jerking. She would be unable to recall facts, so she would constantly be having to data collect up here, recall information. She might have a lot more eye blocking behaviors or rapid blinking that we see in here, pressured and rapid speech patterns, which we do see here. However, in the context of things, it is reasonable to believe she might just be stressed because psychologically she is feeling invalidated. Psychologically, she is feeling as if she doesn't have the bond with Gypsy Rose that she does. Or it might even be because she's being paid by Lifetime and the internet needs to know this set narrative for the sake of the show. There's a lot of things that could be going on. I don't personally believe she is on an illegal substance, though there are a lot of indicators she could be, but I understand where that controversy came from, and that's just how that would affect the body language. So I'm going to end this here. This has been kind of long. I might do a part 2 of this. I still need to do a part 2 of the other video. If you've watched this far, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Thank you for watching.